Hello, Penny Shark Academy. Well, welcome to this week's weekly market analysis and breakdown of what's happening in the market. I'm going to make this very quick for you guys, just to get you on back to your day, your evening, your morning. Recording this here on a Sunday. Looking forward to the market this week. I want to start with the QQQ. We closed here. This is the weekly chart. You guys can see the price action that we have been tracking over the last several weeks here with the volume profiles that I've included. So we've been in an uptrend, as you all know. This is the NASDAQ, the ETF that tracks the NASDAQ. We have, ever since we broke out into this 637 high, we've just been in this tight, or not tight, but we've been in this consolidation period where we are trying to decide what we are going to do next. So whether you're looking at a weekly chart, daily chart, few minute chart, you're going to see some very similar trends in the market or stock market moves. You're going to see price either go up, you're going to see price go down, or you're going to see price go sideways. And so here you have some sideways action after a big move up since we had our DeepSeek / tariff sell-off here in spring-ish of 2025. And so we'll see what happens here, but typically, let me go ahead and take that alert off here. Typically, when you see a breakdown of price on the close below consolidation, which I would say, these two are the most important bars to take a look at. The high here of 625 and the low there of 610. When you see a breakdown, which really happened last week at 609, but it was a little weak. When you see price really break down below consolidation like we did this past week, we closed at 601.92, which is well below this consolidated range, this tightening range that was taking place. You usually have a follow through of some nice selling as a result of this. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for downside on the Qs, at least in the short term. Not sure if NVIDIA earnings coming up next week is going to push us back up or not. There's been a lot of fake outs in the Qs in the past, so you can't always trust what happens here. But it did happen here. You can see we created this nice little range here on the Qs, and then we broke down below right here on the 24th of February 2025, and then boom, what followed was a massive sell-off. So even though we do know that was tariffs and DeepSeek, the chart really told us what was going to happen back in February. It told us what the market was about to do. So we're pretty much at that point here where up until this time, this was an all-time high, all-time high, all-time high. And then bam, we broke down below, and now we have enough buyers with this huge volume bar to push us on up. Now we create another all-time high consolidation. We probably have a nice little sell-off here, which is going to scare so many people into the next few weeks, few months, cause a lot of people to think the world is ending. And then most likely, like always, we're going to find some buyers at support, wherever support may be, and then push us on back up. That's usually what happens. Usually not a complete crash. We can even go all the way back to COVID and see what happened there. Here was the COVID crash here, March of 2020. You can see here it felt like the end of the world on the NASDAQ. And what happened? I'll just zoom in just a little bit. Bam. We went from 237 all the way down to 164. But here's the 200, and bam, buyer stepped in right there at the 200. Boom, pushed us on up, and it was as if it never happened by the time the stock market finished. Now, all of us still remember that, but you can kind of see what happened there. So you just got to understand that, that's just what the market does. So selling is a healthy part of market movement. So we do want to see some of these pullbacks. Markets don't go straight up. So we just want to pay attention to that. I'll be a little bit faster here on the rest of them. So QQQ, that was the NASDAQ breakdown. And now we have the SPY, which is the S&P 500. You can see here we had, similar, they pushed us down last year with the tariffs. Huge volume stepped in here right there on that bar. Look at that. All the money comes in. Boom. And we're gone. You could have just bought a leap right here and just hailed it all the way to the top. So we'll see what happens with that. Then we had Bitcoin. You can see here, big sell bar here as we push down into the 200. So far it's holding up because buyers did push us back up. We didn't close down here on the bar. We closed in the middle of the bar, which means we had some buying pressure to push sellers back the other direction. And now we're in a consolidation, ranging here, trading sideways. And either after this, we are going to go down a little bit further, or we're going to go ahead and push back up and go retest these all-time highs, which I'm sure a lot of crypto traders are hoping for here as well. Gold, you can see here the move of gold. My gosh, since 2023, we thought it was expensive at 1900. We're all the way almost to 6,000 gold, 5,600 before this sell-off here, which scared a bunch of people. But it's doing what it does. It's consolidating up here. They don't just go straight up. It's been going straight up for so long. It was bound to have a pullback. And the silver is doing the exact same thing. And so a lot of people bought the top. You never buy the top on a move like that. And then, of course, it goes down. A lot of people sold, thinking, oh my gosh, it's going all the way back down to nothing. But you can see here the 9 SMA and the 20 EMA just came down to touch that on the weekly. And now it's just bouncing back and forth, probably consolidate for a while before it decides what to do next. It's either going to continue up, go and retest the highs, or we might break on down to this volume shelf here around $50. Either way, silver is still a valuable asset, so I would not bank on it going to nothing. But the charts are telling us already. All right, so plays of the week. Let's look into it. Let's get into it really quick. Costco, it looks really, really good. This is the weekly on Costco. Back in February of 25, you got the 1078 touch, and then you had a retest June of 25. You got up to 1067, couldn't quite get back to the high, so you had a nice little sell-off, little falling wedge here, and then look what happens. Boom, we just broke back out of this wedge that was created. And we are now on our way up. It looks like we are going to go and try to retest. So I would assume that we can get to 1050, 1045, 1050 before we get another pullback here. So that's what I'm targeting if I'm playing this one, which I will be, is a touch of somewhere around the 1050 range. I would love to see a pullback back to 1,000, maybe 1005. If it's a really, really short pullback, maybe 1010. But this ATR level is 984. Maybe we get a nice deep pullback before we continue on. Either way, I'll be watching to see just how deep we go, because I will be looking to buy calls on the move to go ahead and test 1050. But if we go ahead and break above that, we'd be targeting somewhere around 1100. which is very, very, very possible with Costco. Very strong name right now. And you have Home Depot. You can see the ranging that we've done over the last few years, really. Very dependable range here, just based on the weekly. So you had a 396, and then you came up and you tested, 439 as a all-time high. Came down. The 200 held. We came back up, created a lower high, and then 200 held again, and we're coming back up. So that's why I have this painted here. This is lower high, lower high. We could keep going and hopefully just break above this. But if we wanted to have a short-term target, I think we probably can get to about 407, 410, where this volume is right here. So 391 to 410 is a nice $20 move. That is big money in trading. So $10, $20 move, anybody would take that. What's most important is your entry here, because you do want to pay attention to the volume as you get into these levels. Volume was strong here, but this week it was not nearly as strong. So we just want to pay attention to that. See if we get a pullback first before we continue up. And then next play is Texas Instruments. They had a really nice move on the earnings. I usually don't want to buy at these levels, but we have officially broken out into all-time highs with Texas Instruments. You can see here the nice W pattern that it formed, and we created a higher low off of this one. And after that higher low was formed, buyer stepped in strong, bam, got above this SMA, and then just continued up and have been just on the move. And I expected, even though we are at a point where you could find some exhaustion, usually when you break out into all-time highs, you don't know just how high you'll go, and if the market does sell off, you don't know if it'll, continue on like we saw in the Qs. But you're looking at 235, potentially 240, 245 is the area that I am looking at as a potential target. So $5-10 on a move is still very, very good. So we'll be looking at that one this week as another play. And then lastly, we're looking at AVGO, which is Broadcom. You can see here, man, what a trend here that it hit all the way from March into their last earnings in December. A high of 414 on this stock. Whoever had this stock from 139, 138 as a low, all the way to 414, and what is that? Less than a year. That was March or April time frame to December. That was a nice 7-8 month move where Broadcom just found all the momentum needed to push you all the way up. So I'm looking at it. Obviously, it's been a strong name. There's been some selling off here recently. It's kind of retested this 360 level a few times. You can see here 360 came down, kind of ranged here, and then it broke down below this consolidation, came down, found some buyers, and now it's looking like it's after the retest of these moving averages, it just could not find the strength to continue on up. So we are on our way down, it looks like, from my analysis, and we could be seeing some pretty decent selling on Broadcom. So the low being 295 on this bar, I would expect from 325 we could probably see nice $20 $20 to $25 minimum move as we get down near 300 over the next week or two, especially if the Qs sell off like we expect. So there's some weakness definitely that we want to take advantage of on a put. So again, we definitely want to continue to watch closely. That's the weekly chart. This is the daily. You can see here we're still above the 200, so we really would like to see a break of this 200 and then a retest here to show that we have officially broken below the 200 SMA before we take a put and just assume that sellers are going to control us all the way down, because the volume is kind of lower here on the selling, so we'd like to see some stronger volume that's pushing us on down. On the daily chart for Texas Instruments, you can see the same thing. Volume is dropping as we kind of get up here. We don't like to see volume go down as we push up. We want to see volume increase, like right here. Volume increasing is giving us more confidence in the move. So we may have some decent pullback here before we continue on up this week. But the overall trend is certainly up now that we are in all-time highs. As you can see here, we've broken above this 220 level. So this would be your retest, is 220, possibly a little deeper, 215 to 220. So we shall see what happens. And then the daily here on Home Depot, we're breaking above the 200. We came and retested it, and now we're off and running. So I would assume we're in a pretty good spot here. Maybe look for a pullback, a level pullback back to 383, 384 before going long, but maybe 385 if we get it. And then we can ride this on up to this 405 to 410 level this week, hopefully. So that's what we'll be looking for. And then Costco, lastly, we're looking at the same pattern. We broke above the 200, came down on the daily, retested, buyers stepped in very strong here, and now we're off and running, and we have a ways to go to get to 1052 as I've marked it, but I would expect we could probably do that in the next week or two, if Costco holds up. So we'll be revisiting this and seeing how we did on our calls here, but that's what we're looking at. That's where Penny Shark Academy is targeting. Lots and lots of names we could be looking at and following in the market, but we like to keep it simple. It doesn't take 1,000 tickers to make money in the stock market. All it takes is just a few plays each week that are set up for your success that actually move, and you can make some pretty good money, and whatever your goals are can be hit. It's all about risk management, as we always preach, and so we have to be patient and make sure we wait for the setups that we are needing in order to take advantage of the market. If you are interested in being a part of Penny Shark Academy and you haven't signed up yet, go to PennySharkAcademy.com, click Enroll Now, and you can join our academy where we talk more about these kind of topics, these kind of setups, this kind of market analysis, teaching our members, some of the ways that they can take advantage of the moves that we're seeing. You also get some access to our exclusive Discord, as well as additional mentorship opportunities that make themselves available. And so follow us on our social media channels, and you'll get access to some of these as well. But until next time, I hope you guys stay blessed, and we will look forward to seeing what the market does this week once we open back up. Talk to you guys soon.